Alrighty. I am no longer AFK. I started up the stream, but then I needed to, like, feed my cat, get a water, all that good stuff. But now I'm here. Hey, welcome Alexa. We've got our first count. Let's go. If we can get ourselves a Baron and a Patrician, we can get things underway. Also, Alexa, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. How are you doing today? Doing well. Thank you for letting me join. It's my pleasure. Yeah, it's been a while since I did my last King of the Castle stream, so been wanting to get another one going. How am I doing? I am doing quite well today. Woke up, ate food, started a stream, can't complain. So in other words, I haven't done much, but sounds like an amazing day so far. Oh yeah, it was a Pancheros burrito. They fresh pressed the tortillas and it is so good. I keep it simple. I just had like rice, steak, cheese, and some jalapeno, and then I had like a side of like chips with medium salsa and very tasty lunch. Very big fan. Hey, Killer Man, how's it going? We've got ourselves a patrician. The factions are starting to fill out. If we can get ourselves a Baron, then we'll have ourselves a game. Also, I know the developers announced that they were like, "Hey, we've kind of done like all the major updates. Do we know if they're still like rotating Twitch drops around?" Always a patrician. There is no escape from this fate. Yup. Every single time, Lord Patrician Killer Man. We'll hope that you can escape the doom that befell your predecessors. You know. Besides, the patricians are great. One day, hopefully, maybe, doubtfully. I mean, I could be crazy and run another game without patricians. Because, pretty sure I did a few of those. I think. There was like a Baron Count Grandies one. That one was pretty interesting. I've kind of excluded the Chiefs from this one somewhat intentionally because I don't know what it is. But, like, the prophecy always comes true on me. Like, the Chiefs, they show up, they pick prophecy, and I'm dead in an hour. And it's just like, whoa. Obviously, it's a bit of a skill issue on my side, but for some reason, it always just, like, lines up perfectly, and they just back to back to back. It's just like, damn, okay. Yeah, I was in one of the Grandies runs. Shit was unhinged. Oh, yeah. I like counter Chiefs so long as I have one. Fair. Yeah, I like the Chiefs. It's just, I don't know what it is. Prophecy is my weakness. The prophecy, the prophecy is always true. It feels like. Also, herein lies a false hope for any potential barons. Never once have they caught a break. I could have sworn the barons won at least one. Wasn't there a like it was the new model army? I think I lost to once. Let me check my Steam achievements. I think I got overthrown by the new model army at one point. Keeping your head, defeat a rebellion, guards, get your honor guard killed. Empire of Whispers, do that. Divorce be with you, your marriage ended in a divorce. Viva la Revolution, get overthrown by a rebellion, I remember that. Below your station, married your childhood sweetheart, ready to kingle, remain single throughout your campaign. As was foretold, you met your hand at the Chief's prophecy, yup. Let's see here, meet the new boss, Sainthood, Penny Pincher, and the Cold. Six Semper Tyrannis, come on. Have I seriously? Wow. I have not lost to the Barons yet. Okay, but we'll see if today is that day, because we have Baron Mystic Kelpie. Welcome. How are you today? Also, I forgot to do a little something on Twitch, so let me fix that real quick. I need to come to my settings. Come to my... Where is it? I need to make sure that we don't run ads on this stream. We're going to deactivate the ad schedule. I'm sorry, Twitch, but I'm doing this one on the house. Every time Barons have been involved, they failed to meet their goals. It wasn't that they failed to meet their goals; it's that they would set their goal directly opposed to somebody else. It felt like somebody would be like, "Oh yeah, we need to lower the stability," and the Barons were like, "Yeah, we need to make the king look like a tyrant, so we need to have him have crazy stability, or it should be authority in that case." But you get what I mean. And so they'd just be duking it out with another faction, and then the Chiefs would just prophesize defeat me. That said, since we have our 3, we can begin. That said, you are all welcome to join in progress if there's anybody else out there. You can join at any time with the, not hashtag, but ! join, and then your preferred pronoun. Chiefs flying beneath the radar and stealing wins. They're crafty ones. They're quite clever. Alright. Let's see here. Council introduction. Chancellor. Knowledge of the king, your first duty is to meet with the Council of Nobles. Your nobles hail from all across the kingdom, the desolate east, the wealthy coast, and of course, the bleak march. Introduce yourself to the Council of the East. Countess Alexa Aranel. An honor to finally make your acquaintance, your majesty. May you escape the doom that befell your predecessor. Well, that's ominous. Introduce yourself to the patricians of the coast. Lord Patrician Killerman. A pleasure, your serene highness. I hope to see our kingdom prosper and grow wealthy under your reign. Introduce yourself to the Barons of the March. Baron Mystic Kelpie. Hail, well met, my liege. Under your leadership, we'll whip this kingdom into shape. And with that, the introductions are done. How's it going, Vamur? You are a count. The council hall immediately fills with raised voices as the nobles argue with each other and demand your favor. You sigh and sit back. Is this what the council is like? No wonder your father told you to avoid the throne at all costs. Alright, so, time for my coronation. I am your king! Chancellor. Your Majesty, I've scheduled your coronation to take place in a week's time. Why the hurry? To delay any longer would make the nobles restless. And when nobles get restless, they take their daggers and look for the nearest back. They wouldn't dare! You should pay more attention to your history books, Your Majesty. The nobles are always plotting something. As is tradition, the council will decide what happens at your coronation. What? But it's my coronation! This isn't an absolute monarchy, Your Majesty. Everything has to be run past a council vote, even this. Shall we call the nobles in? Alright, so, for the uninitiated, I have a variety of options here. So, we have A, B, C, and D, and you will be able to vote with the exclamation point and then the corresponding letter of your choice once I hit start vote. Additionally, I also have these laws that I can put into effect, so I can say veto throwing the king into the river. So we will not be throwing the king into the river, so you can go for A, B, or D. Let the voting begin. What are we thinking, my nobles? Also, Vimur, the schemes have not been decided yet. We have just begun. So we are in the opening moments. The schemes will be decided after this sort of, opening tutorial round. Then all the nobles will get to decide. Alright, we're going to force the commoners to swear a blood oath. Alright. 2 nobles voted for force the commoners to swear a blood oath. The common citizens of the capital are lined up in a winding queue that loops along a dozen streets. One by one, they are brought before your throne, bowing and scraping. After a bit of prodding from your watchman, each citizen slices their palm and smears their blood on your boots, swearing their eternal loyalty. No amount of scrubbing will ever save your shoes after this. The last monarch to hold a blood oath ceremony was King Timion the Mad, who also once declared war on the color blue. The peasants muttered darkly that yet another tyrant now sits on the throne. Damn right. Alrighty. Unknown contraption, you are a Lord Patrician. So, Mystic Kelpie controls the entirety of the Baron's votes. But the Counts and the Patricians do have more numbers, and thus more money to use at the auction house when that time comes. Now then, the path to victory. Spymaster. Your Majesty, when you die, how do you hope the kingdom will remember you? What are we looking at in terms of stats? We've got not awful trade. We've got, 7 Patrician trade, which is pretty nice. It's actually the same stat lineup for farming. And then our other stuff is a little worse. Our military is really weak with patricians. And I know I've kind of started going for, tyranny a little bit. Well, you all have forced me down that path, making the commoners swear a blood oath to me. But you know what? I think that King Gottfried Cohan will be remembered as the father of the nation. Because I don't usually go for farming. And I want to mix it up. This is going to be a bit of a unique one for me. Interesting. Are you concerned for the welfare of the commoners? Or are you just hoping for a favorable passage in the history books? I suggest over the next few years you focus on improving the kingdom's overall farming as much as possible. Once you have an heir, I will return to discuss how your ambition is progressing. Good luck, Your Majesty. Thank you, Spymaster. So with that, we can end the season. But I want to take a quick look around. So we got Tavalin. I know Tavalin has some really nasty spies. We got the Ashmedian Empire. Frozen Wastes. Kurth, Danea, Valamir, Atesh. Or Atesh. I suppose that would be because it's double A. Alright, let's go ahead and end the season out here in not Westeros. Jacob of the mystic Kelpie bloodline, legendary former bandit, stands before a blazing hearth, roaring with arms outstretched. When have the barons of the march backed down from a fight? Never! I know you'll do what it takes to put me, your rightful king, on the throne. So, Baron Mystic Kelpie, it is time for you to choose what your scheme is going to be. So, you can vote for A, B, or C, and this will determine what scheme your team will be playing for. Alright, timer's ticking down. Let's see here. We'll give it a little bit longer, just in case if there's like a stream delay or a little bit of lag or something. Hey, there we go. Uprising. Raise the treasury. Alright, sorry, I had to send somebody a message real quick because they were messaging me. Alright, so, uprising. The barons plan to incite a peasant uprising to overthrow the king before swooping in to steal the throne for themselves. Can we see our stats before voting? I can pull those back up for you. So here's the starting stats. To advance their scheme, the barons must raise the treasury to 2,000 or more in 2 seasons. Okay, I need to spend a little bit of money. Scheme counts. Cohan of the Vemur dynasty, notorious Eastern orator, leans delicately on a podium, sighing. My fellow counts, in ancient times, the East was its own proud kingdom. We can bring back those days of glory, but not while the false King Gottfried wears the crown. So, counts. Your options are Doppelganger, lower own defiance, intimidation, raise stability, or possession, lower own defiance is also the start for that. So we got a couple of different options here. What are we thinking, Counts? Countess Alexa says intimidation. Wants to raise the stability. Give a little bit of time. Alright. The counts are aligned. Intimidation. Raise stability. The counts plan to hold the king hostage in his own palace. First, they must lull the spy master into a false sense of security. To advance their scheme, the counts must raise stability to 5 or more in 4 seasons. Scheme for the patricians. Marcel of the Unknown Contraption family, legendary coastal rapscallion, scribbles with a well-used quill on a hardwood desk, speaking calmly. Fellow patricians of the coast, my claim to the throne is far more legitimate than that of King Gottfried. Something must be done. So, patricians. Your options are sorcery, which is to raise the authority, conspiracy, lower the treasury, or corruption, lower authority. What are we thinking, my lord patricians? Lord patricians, Killer Man, and Unknown Contraption. What scheme will put Marcel, your claimant, to the throne? Unknown Contraption says sorcery, and Killer Man agrees. Okay. We're pulling out Shadow Wizard Money Gang again. Let's do it. I remember Barons tried Shadow Wizard Money Gang like twice, but I kept dying to the prophecy. The patricians plan to make a bargain with a wizard. These immortal spellcasters seldom get involved in political squabbles, but perhaps if the king was considered a threat to their autonomy. To advance their scheme, the patricians must raise authority to 5 or more in 2 seasons. Let's see if we can achieve what the barons have failed to do. Been betrayed by mages too many times. Yeah, Vimmer, weren't you the one who got like turned to stone by a by one of the wizards or something? Or he cast some other nasty spell on you? Alright, warning, the monarch currently has no heir. The embittered step-uncle wants an uprising. The embittered step-sibling wants to go for intimidation. And the questionable claimant wants to go for sorcery. It was some bee bullshit. Yeah, the bees! Actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it's because the bees are magical. And so, people are going to need to reduce my... No, not my farming! Laws of the land. By a royal decree, we can tweak the laws governing how the council votes. We can't pass more than 3 of these laws at once, and only 1 may be used per vote. So, we've got Monarch's Golden Choice. And one thing to note is this 500 personal wealth is only if my option goes through, from what we've seen. We did a little bit of testing. So it says if they go for the Monarch's Choice, they get 500 personal wealth. That only holds up if that goes through. I shall burn thy farm. No, I need those bees. How else am I to be the father of the nation? Perhaps if I can rebuild the farms before I have my heir and need to actually meet my ambition. Either that or you're going to... I'm saying, you know, chat, I'm trying to be a nice, good King Gottfried, but you all are going to force me into tyranny, I swear to goodness. Alright, I'm going to pick up reverse voting, where nobles must vote for their least favorite option, and the option with the least votes will pass. Now then, we've got our opening events. We've got 2 in the east, and then 1 here in the capital. The Honor Guard. Marshal. As is tradition, each region offers a selection of elite guards. It counts with the Knights of the Order of the Drowned Rose. I'm a sucker for a good rose aesthetic. It's not like I'm the Rose Guard captain or anything. The Patricians with champion gladiators from the arena. And the Barons offer a squad of battle-hardened veteran soldiers. Think carefully, Your Majesty. These guards' loyalties will be divided between you and the region. Of course, you could just hire foreign mercenaries. They'd be loyal to coin above all. Mercenaries is tempting, because I do kind of want to spend money. Is it the Rose Guards? They will be Rose Guards. They'll be Rose's Guards at the very least. Stop, am I still able to join? I've never played this before. Yes, you can still join. Just exclamation point join, space, whatever pronouns you prefer, and it'll automatically put you onto one of our like noble factions. And boom, we have a second Baron. We have Baron Pizza Time Peepo. Alright, so, tell me about the Eastern Knights. The Order of the Drowned Rose are highly respectable. They'll understand palace etiquette. It's been years since they fought an actual battle. They mostly write poems these days. Tell me about the coastal gladiators. Getting a low-born crooks who have turned themselves into celebrities through their skill at chopping other people to bits. They're vain and selfish. Their skill in battle is undeniable, but can you trust them? And veterans of the march. These soldiers have fought more battles than they've had hot dinners. They'll be uncouth, no doubt, and won't adapt well to life in the palace, but they're loyal and tough as nails. I do kind of want to lower my treasure. I'm not sure if I can, though. Let's see here. What 4 mercenaries do you suggest? Band of fearsome fighters from the Tatterlands called the Battle-Bitten Brethren. They specialize in bodyguard work, but they're costly. Hiring foreigners will betray a lack of confidence in our own kingdom's fighters. I have made my decision. I await your verdict with bated breath, Your Majesty. Let's see here. I need to get the treasury below 2,000, so the foreign mercenaries aren't going to be enough. Oof. Fair enough. Okay. Let's see here. What are we thinking? We've got some pretty strong offerings. We've got the Order of the Drowned Rose from the Counts. Also, here's our noble list because we had some more people join. So, not a noble. You are a noble count. Alright. Let's see here. Think we're going to keep it simple. And you know what? Maybe we can spend a little bit more money to keep things. Like how it's simply new to make me purple. Yeah. But hiring 4 mercenaries lowers my authority? I kind of want that, don't I? Raise the kingdom's authority to at least 5 or more in 2 seasons. We're gonna do it. We're gonna spend out of pocket. Let's go. We've got funny mercenary lady with nose piercing. The battle-bitten brethren arrive a few weeks later. You've never seen such a gang of huge, unpleasant-looking cutthroats, sneering and smirking and cleaning their fingernails with daggers. Your fears are assuaged by their commander, a gray-haired man who calmly explains the service they provide. As long as coin doesn't run out, they'll sacrifice themselves to the last man on your behalf. That's good for me. Alright, now then, we have 2 events out in the east. Also, Vermeer says hydrate. I got you. So, take a real quick sip before I get to reading. Alright, let's start off with the songstress. Count not a noble. Your Highness, a bard who calls herself the songstress, has been making waves in the east. Her performances are attracting huge crowds, so huge that there have been brawls and stampedes as people push closer to the stage. There have been no deaths yet, but it's only a matter of time. With every concert, the riots get worse. What can we do to nip this in the bud? Water for the voice. We prefer to dehydrate around these parts? No, Killer Man. I refuse. So, what should be done about the growing popularity of the songstress? We can either A, ban her from performing, B, ensure her shows have adequate security, C, invite her to the palace for a private show, or D, this is not a matter for the council's attention. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we're just gonna let it ride. All right, here we go. Now the voting is live. All good, Vermeer. You can put that vote right back in. So, for those who have just arrived, just to make sure we are all on the same page, the patrician's goal is sorcery. They want to make sure the authority is at least 5. 5 or higher in 2 seasons' time. The uprising scheme for the barons, they want to make sure that there's at least 2,000 in my treasury in 2 seasons. And then the counts are going for intimidation. So they want to have stability at 5 or more in 4 seasons. So, now that the votes have come in, let's see here. Voting has closed. We are going to ensure her shows have adequate security. Armed guards are assigned to keep the peace during the songstress's shows, but you soon receive reports that the guards themselves are joining in with the riots. It's a bloodbath. Dozens of soldiers are killed, and even more civilians. Yet by all accounts, the songstress's performances are more popular than ever. I just realized, it's goddamn Losa from Divinity Original Sin 2. Also, let me, I see that the music's coming up a little quiet. There we go. It's Losa from Divinity Original Sin 2. She puts on a show and everyone goes into a bloodthirsty rage and kills each other. I think that's actually just Losa. What is going on? Losa, best girl from Divinity? Hell yeah. Alright, that said, we've also got dangerous roads out here in the east. So let's see here. Count Not a Noble again. Pleasure to see you again. Your Majesty, the merchants in the east are complaining about bandits. The eastern roads are too dangerous to travel, even with guards. Gangs of highly organized, well-armed highwaymen will ambush merchant caravans and steal absolutely everything. So, what can be done about the bandits plaguing eastern roads? We can either pay a mercenary company to patrol the roads, make a few empty promises and hope this all goes away, send a battle-hardened regiment to rout the bandits, or offer a bounty on bandit scalps. So I'm going to veto making empty promises. And have at it. Actually completed her character arc, and the final fight for her arc is absolutely tedious, for Lys's arc. I haven't actually done her arc, but that's because I tend to play Lone Wolf on Divinity. Because I have mental issues. I'd try Lone Wolf Honor mode. It hits different. Alright, votes are coming in. Give it a couple more seconds, because I saw some of those were coming in a little late. Alright. And boom. Voting is closed. 3 nobles voted for pay a mercenary company to patrol the roads. We're hiring so many mercenaries. King's bodyguard. Now we're hunting bandits. Ouch, my poor treasury. You pay for a fearsome mercenary company known as the Ghoul-Bitten to patrol the roads and keep the bandits at bay. After a dozen bandit attacks are repelled in roadside skirmishes, the bandits lay low and lick their wounds. The roads are quiet once more. Trade is now dynamic in the east. Merchants grumble that the mercenaries demand constant bribes, and that their manners are almost as bad as those of the bandits, but who cares? Merchants are never happy. Alright, so with that, we are at the end of the season. So, what we have here is the auction house. Whenever I hit start auction, there will be a hard 60-second timer that I don't think I get to control. You'll have 1 minute, and so be careful of like delays if you're going to try any sort of like last second stuff. But how this works is whenever you vote to build a building, if it has an effect like, say, trade or military, I see, like the Thieves Guild or the Fortress, those will affect your region. However, things like stability and authority will affect the kingdom stats because, obviously. But you are also not limited to building your own buildings. So, for example, if you were a patrician and you did not like the barons, you could try to build a Thieves Guild in the barons' land. So it's !fund XY, where X is the character code, so A, B, C, D, E, F, and Y is the amount you are pledging. So, without further ado, start auction. You got 60 seconds. Let's see here. We got 1,500 immediately coming in for the library to raise stability. We got 600 coming in for the monument to raise authority. 1,600 now for the monument, making sure it stays well up there. Looks like we've got a lot of people going all in. We've got Unknown Contraption out of money, Not a Noble out of money. Other nobles sort of debating. Let's see here. We've got some funding coming in on the Fortress, 500, but we've got even more funding, 2,200 for the library, 1,900 for the monument. We're down to about the last 15 seconds here. Who needs money? You. You're going to need money by the time the second auction comes around. But, let's see here. We're getting down to it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep, I don't get a button. So, we got to be careful. So, we've got buildings funded. We've got the library raising stability, which was funded with 2,200 coins with the biggest contributor, 1,000 from Count Not a Noble. And the monument, which was funded for 1,900, with Unknown Contraption contributing 1,000. Money is overrated? We'll see, because I think the barons have held on to their money. Yeah. The barons are saving for a rainy day, apparently. Uh, only 2 events? Okay, there's the third, mercenary extortion. Okay. So, fuck it. First things first, bankruptcy looms. The treasury is almost empty, Your Highness. Where the hell did it all go? I couldn't possibly say, Your Majesty. Perhaps you've been spending a little too freely. Apart from raising taxes, we have precious few options. You could get a bank loan, or sell off the crown jewels, or perhaps crack open some of your predecessors' tombs. Most were buried with piles of gold, or so I've heard. I own the Royal Mint, don't I? Make more coins? 10,000. Let's see here. Alright. I was hoping there'd be a play to where I could prevent a couple of noble factions from advancing their schemes. But if I gain 1.2k or more, so anything other than the bottom left option, if I do any option other than that, then the uprising scheme is going to progress. If I drop stability, I can prevent counts from progressing. If I drop authority, I'm not sure if it'll be enough. It'd have to be a 2 drop, which I'm not sure it is. Let's see here. That said, I could charge the nobles 600 wealth, apparently. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna sell off some of the royal jewelry to wealthier nobles. So, I suppose the necklace of saints, which has been in my family for generation, with the crowned ruby of Agathon, can be sold off. You auction off dozens of necklaces, 5 gold rings, and a jeweled scepter to the nobles. It's a humiliating affair. Selling off symbols of power makes you look weak and desperate. Authority is down to 5. Lord Patrician Killerman. Ooh, look at this tiara. Fetching, isn't it? Don't mind if I do. Lord Patrician Killerman's wealth has decreased 100 to 0. Treasury is now at 1,300. Anyone else get hit? Just Killerman. Ah, yes, one of our wealthiest nobles. Both the barons sitting over there with our wealthiest noble, Lord Patrician Killerman, with 100. Just gonna be broke. Yeah, there really is no escaping the doom of your predecessors, Killerman. My goodness. Oh, wait a minute. Baron Mystic Kelpie. Hey, check out this scepter. It's like I'm the king. Baron Mystic Kelpie's wealth has decreased, and the treasury rises again. Alright, and let's see here. Mercenary extortion. The king is a powerless fool, you dare, Vimer? Also, Count Noble, you seem to be the spokesperson for your faction at the moment. My goodness. Your Majesty, those mercenaries you hired are behaving terribly. In addition to their wages, they're extorting tolls from traveling merchants in exchange for safe passage. What happens if the merchants refuse to pay? Nothing ever goes according to plan. These are nobles. What happens if the merchants refuse to pay? Their goods are confiscated at sword point. In other words, the mercenaries are robbing just as much as the bandits used to. Between the bandits and the mercenaries, Eastern trade is being utterly destroyed. Trade is now modest, and some counts' wealth has decreased. Looks like it was about 150 taken from each member of the faction. Not that that's an issue for not a noble who's already broke. So, the mercenaries are almost as bad as the bandits. How can this be fixed? We can either dock the mercenaries' pay as punishment, offer to pay the mercenaries more if they behave better, or tell the merchants that from now on, this is just the cost of doing business. Can I see the stats? Yeah. We got trade, all that good stuff. I think you might also be able to see your faction-specific stats, assuming the extension is working. There should be like a little pop-up menu that you can see, assuming you're on like desktop near the top left. I'm not sure if it works on mobile, but you might be able to see stuff about your faction in there, your goals at the very least, and personal wealth. All right, so I'm going to start the vote. What are we thinking? Scheme and personal wealth? Yeah. So your scheme is the goal that your faction is trying to accomplish, and then your personal wealth is your money that you can use on auctions. So, I see the counts are coming out to dock the mercenaries' pay as punishment. Ooh, the patricians splitting their vote. Counts also split, and all's quiet from the barons. Ooh, there we go. Pizza time, Peepo. We got a baron chiming in that we needed to dock the mercenaries' pay as punishment. All right. Voting has closed. Outraged at the reduction in their wages, the mercenaries march over the border to the Ashmedian Empire and leave your kingdom for good. They plundered a few villages along the way for good measure, leaving ashes in their wake. In their absence, bandits begin preying on the roads once more. Trade is now poor in the east, and farming is now fruitful. Those bastards. Can't believe them. Alright, that said, finding a spouse. In the twisty passages of your castle, you can avoid your advisors, the nobles, even the spy master. But there's one person you can't avoid. Your mother. Why haven't you found a spouse yet? It's been almost a year. I've been busy, Ma. You better find the time. Don't worry. I'll take the liberty of finding eligible candidates. What's your preference? Men, women, or do you not mind? I need to produce an heir, so... Men says pizza time. I'm trying to produce an heir, however. And so, as I am a man, I do not believe I can produce an heir biologically with another man. Which would mean I would need to, like, either send the title to, like, my, like a young cousin, maybe. You can in this game. Oh, God. Now it's the one fucking meme. It's a good thing I'm a boy and can't get pregnant. Hello, says the boy impregnator. Fucking hell. Okay. You know what? We're just gonna hit any, and we're gonna see what happens. Yeah. Anybody. Leave it to fate. Roll the dice. Hell yeah. I got you. Came with modern science as well. Fair. Alright. Excellent. I'll send out messengers to the most influential noble families in the kingdom. Let's see what they have to offer. Alright, and that is that season. Here we go. Discontent on the rise. Somewhere in the march, a group of barons are touring Baron Mystic Kelpie's impressive trophy room. Once the tour is over, a bottle of brandy is uncorked, and the barons settle down for some light treason as a treat. Baron Mystic Kelpie. It's not enough. The common folk couldn't care less about the king or his hoarded wealth. How are we supposed to incite an uprising in this climate? We should start by ensuring the king actually has some wealth to flaunt, says Jacob. Shame the king seems determined to be destitute. Perhaps he's just really bad with money. Baron's aim is to raise the treasury to 2,000 or more. Recruiting a wizard. In the coast, Lord Patrician Unknown Contraption sits on a pier, watching the sharks swim lazy circles beneath his dangling feet. Suddenly, the water begins to boil and froth. The sharks swim off in terror. A huge, shaggy figure rises from the sea. You wanted to meet me. Make it quick. A giant squid is fighting a sperm whale 30 miles from here, and I don't want to miss it, says Scrampton. I thought we might have a common goal. The king has been overstepping his bounds recently, hasn't he? Humph! The king's navy did anchor their ships over my favorite reef last month. Bloody annoying. Alright, I'll help you, but you better get rid of the bees first. Did you say bees? Yes. On this plane they're simple insects, but in the apiary, the world of dreams and magic, they're powerful and intelligent. Call themselves the dreams of being. They have an innate fondness for royalty, and sometimes protect monarchs from magical interference. But they won't harm non-magical folk beyond the occasional sting, so you can deal with him. For the next stage of their scheme, the patricians must lower all regions' combined farming to 14 or less in 4 seasons. It's currently at 15 farming. Hagrid as a druid, the fuck? Yes, the gameskeeper. Agreed, why is the king so dumb? I will have you know I'm great with money. Anyway, I'm cruel taxing you all because you're making fun of me. Right? That's how we do this? I've heard some pretty hurtful things. You know, get your king game up. Why is the king so dumb? Those are some pretty hurtful things you're saying to me, you know? So I'm thinking, you know, it might be time for a cruel tax. Helping the barons? Damn you. I have said nothing. This is true, Alexa. You have not. But your fellow Count Vimur has been talking some pretty mad shit. King is on the Baron's side, what a fool? Saying you're proving our point, King? What point? I can be great with money. I can hoard it all. At least common. Begging for forgiveness for the words of Count Vimur. I suppose I could perhaps be more generous. Also, one thing I have forgotten to mention is there is a system known as the trade bonus. So, whenever this sort of season comes around, whenever it's tax time, there will be a roll of the dice. The higher your trade stat, the more likely you are to get the trade bonus. So this trade bonus was, the barons invest wisely in the fur trade, making 500 wealth. Other nobles gain 200 wealth. Not so dumb after all. Now we're talking, Vimur. See, it's not that hard to be kind to your king. Now then, pizza time, Peepo. What say you in your defense? Calling the king dumb? Do you want to be cruel taxed? Now that I'm looking back through the letters I have received from my nobles, it seems the patricians have been most reasonable. I would say that this is the best king of the castle stream right now. I think I might be the only one. Last I had seen, when I went live, it said there was 6.4k followers, but no viewers, which I think meant there was no streams going. So technically speaking, let's go. I'm top in the category, you know? You'll love to see it. Has he ever had a pizza time with you, King? Ooh. do enjoy pizza time. Oh, pineapple on pepperoni pizza. A whole pineapple at that. Not just chunks or cubes. Not even rings, but a whole pineapple, you heathen. He's clearly keeping you out of his company. Overtaxing the barons is helping them. They've said some cruel things about me, though. If I went common all, I would still be above the threshold. That said, I definitely don't want to be giving out bribes. I feel like that would be not good. Common everyone, don't help them win. We love taxes, you should tax everyone. I am taxing everyone. I don't want to give out a bribe. I'm sure I can spend at least 200 of this gold. You know? Surely we will get an event where I can spend at least 200 gold, you know? Surely. And also, maybe drop my stability. Let's see here. Alright, so for now, we will go ahead and confirm the tax. Taxing everyone is the only way to have a good kingdom. Something like that. Also, welcome Tundralinks. You have been put onto Team Barons. The Barons' scheme currently is to have the treasury at least 2,000 for an uprising. Your farms are doing great. What if taxing makes people not buy and no trade? Its own thing? Maybe. Also, the East is getting all the events recently. My goodness. Overrun by bandits. Ah. I will herald your downfall. Bold words, Tundralings. Alright. Count not a noble. Every day, more bandits attack our roads in the East. We are overrun with scoundrels and outlaws. Spymaster. I've looked into this, Your Majesty. A leader of sorts has emerged from among the rabble. For now, the lawless scum do his bidding. Tell me more. He calls himself the Gallows Man, because he was given the noose twice and survived both times. He's a vicious fellow, and his bandits have been known to slaughter penniless pilgrims for sport. Local villagers are all terrified of him. That's why they don't turn him in, and let his gang hide amongst them when the sheriff comes knocking. Who cares who he is? We need to kill him and teach the others a lesson. So, how can the bandits and their new leader be brought to justice? We can either place a hefty bounty on the Gallows Man's head, 40% chance of success, send a spy to join the bandits and find the location of their hideout, tempt one of the bandits to rat out their leader, or we've already wasted enough resources on this, time to move on. We're not letting this go. We had bandits, so we hired mercenaries. The mercenaries started being worse than the bandits, so we got rid of the mercenaries, who then pillaged villages and left to Ashmead. And now the bandits are back and they have a leader. We need to kill them. We cannot just let this sit. So, start vote. What are we thinking, nobles? Let's see here. Got a few different things coming out. So far, I see we've got, the counts and the patricians working together for C, perhaps? Barons voting on B. Counts and patricians actually rallying. Okay. Let's see, I'll give it a couple more seconds just to let any last-second voters get their votes in. And 3, 2, 1. Voting is closed. Let's see here. So we're going to tempt one of the bandits to rat out their leader. You send a negotiator to find one of the bandits and offer them a sack of gold in exchange for turning on the gallows man. Good news, your majesty. The gallows man isn't well loved among his little gang. We found a bandit who was willing to sell him out in exchange for a troth of gold and a full pardon. We must make the payment before he tells us the hideout's location, then we can strike and wipe these scumbags off the face of Celeste Oth. In the absence of immediate consequences, the gallows man and his gruesome crew grow bolder by the day, even attacking counts in their carriages. Oh my. Trade is now destitute. Oh, and Defiance is now aloof. Okay. Oops. And another event here in the East, because... have we had, like, a single March event or Coast event? I feel like it's all just been counts and capital. Like, my goodness. Counts are getting all the attention, because great googly moogly, it's all going to shit, Capo. Alright, Count Not a Noble, once more. Your Majesty, ignore everything I said about the songstress. I was completely wrong. I hired her for a private performance, to see what all the fuss was about, and by the blood of the dead, I've never heard anything so beautiful. I was so moved, I immediately gave her all my money and the keys to my keep. Count Not a Noble's wealth has decreased. I think you're under some kind of spell. Perhaps I am, but if so, it was worth it to hear her sing. You simply must invite her to the palace for a performance. Spymaster. Your Majesty, this is deeply suspicious. We need to do something. So, we can invite the songstress to the palace for a private show, order the Spymaster to investigate this phenomenon, ban her music, or send an assassin to get rid of her permanently. So, the way I see this, if we lower the treasury, that will mess up the barons. But if we lower the stability, that will mess up the counts. So ultimately, both factions, you might need, you're pretty evenly matched. You might need the swing vote of the patricians here. But let's go ahead and start the vote. I will let you all sort this out amongst yourselves. I will not interfere. Counts gunning for the treasury to keep the Baron's scheme at bay. Okay. Ooh, unknown contraption. Siding with the Counts. And the Barons split their vote. Tundra Lynx was looking for stability to try and delay the Count scheme. And it looks like the patricians have sided with the Counts to lower my poor sweet treasury even more. My poor treasury. Alright. Voting has closed. We're going to send an assassin to get rid of her permanently. Assassinate her! Absolutely not! I won't let you! A flailing Count Noble has to be removed from the council hall by the watch. Meanwhile, your spymaster heads out to hire an assassin. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Your Majesty. I am here representing the Viper's children. You have a bard that needs to be silenced. Correct. Believe me, this songstress won't be a thorn in your side for much longer. Alright, so we have sent an assassin after the songstress. Also, welcome Cody. Just to give a quick overview, we now have 3 per faction. Cody, you are with the patricians. And we are at our eligible options. Queen Mother. I have found 3 potential matches for you. 1 eligible young candidate from each of the kingdom's 3 regions. Choose wisely. You'll be securing a powerful alliance. And a partner for life to have and to hold, don't forget. I suppose so, but the alliance comes first. Your mother leads you to the Great Hall, where she's arranged 3 portraits on easels. For now, each is covered by a cloth. Wait, I don't even get to meet them? There's no time for sentiment. You just need a match that befits your station and suits your political needs. She whisks away a cloth from the first portrait. This is Zemuel, the eldest heir of the Eastern Alexa Aranel dynasty. Forgive the snooty expression. I'm sure that's caused by an errant brushstroke. A very pious individual. They're always planning something, they say. Schemes within schemes. They're an intriguing candidate. Okay. Smug and scheming all the time from the counts. That sounds about par for the course. From the coast, we have Dominica, the wealthy heiress to Lord Patrician Cody the Cat's estate. She's always getting herself into trouble for some reason or another. Her interests are typical of the coast. Money, 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 and making more of it. And apparently she has a dark side, though I don't know much more about that. Yo, we got greedy Patrician. My poor sweet treasury keeps getting abused. I might need a spouse who can help me make money. And of course, mysterious dark sides are always cool. Not to mention the whole, mysterious mask thing. I like the sound of her. And finally, we have the March's offering. Matthias, scion of the prestigious Tundra Lynx bloodline. A typical baron, really. Loud and brash and self-absorbed, but mostly well-meaning. Like most of the barons, his great passion is hunting. No beast is safe from his crossbow. Also got into a fight with his local bishop a couple years back. Gave him a bloody nose. This sounds like a laugh. What do you think? Of course, by picking a candidate, you'll anger the other regions, but you'll gain a lifelong alliance. That one will steal your money, don't even consider it. It's true, she could steal from the treasury. And I already have precious little in my treasury. So, we have Zemuel, who is always scheming. And that's really all we know about them. Their appearance was androgynous, and we don't know anything else. Then we've got Dominica, the lady from the coast, and then we've got Matthias, the man from the march. Matthias is really hot. I can't deny Matthias had an appeal. A certain, grizzled, sort of good look. And we've also got... we've got some solid options here. My son is clearly the best option, not scheming or greedy. East is best. Everyone is trying to thrust their heir upon me. Dominica will promise to not take all of the money. That is good. I do like having some money. You don't have to pick East, though. I see. Just saying, but Matthias could help with the treasury. Do tell, Mr. Kelpie. I'm not sure how Matthias would feel if we were to, say, auction off his hunting trophies, Pick East for my sake? Pretty please. That's such a heartfelt plea, Vimmer. I mean, it is tempting to, lower Count's Defiance a little bit. But, I mean, with his strong arms, he could carry you and the bags of money. Ooh. Okay. If you choose the coast, you will get free reign of any beach you choose. Okay, I can't deny. Cody's making some really, really compelling arguments. If I marry Dominica, there's a whole, like, coastal manor I can go and hang out at. And, you know, that sounds pretty nice, I can't deny. Go with your heart, of course. Of course, of course. Matthias is also security for your wedding. Well, if he's all business, then there's no time for us, you know? If he's just constantly on guard. You know, we don't need someone who's incredibly uptight. And admittedly, he has been seen to be a bit violent. Because Matthias did bloody a bishop's nose, apparently, some time ago. Matthias will support all your choices and make you richer and make you feel loved. Oh my. Protect the ones he loves, though. You don't know the whole story. Ooh. The East was once its own kingdom. What if they want to separate, and getting an alliance with them would help them stay? Yeah, no, surely not. Surely the counts of the East would never scheme against me. Counter, my estate invented surfboards. Every strong man has a sensitive side. It's up to you to find it. So we can either find out what's up with this dark side of Dominica, the soft side of Matthias, or we can try to decipher the enigma that is Zimuel. Let's see here. I'll go through once more. Show me Zimuel again. This is Zimuel, the eldest heir of the Eastern Alexa Aranel dynasty. Forgive the snooty expression. I'm sure that's caused by an errant brushstroke. A very pious individual. They're always planning something, they say. Schemes within schemes. Dominica's dark side, is she literally has skin burns under the mask? Maybe. We don't know that, though. Besides, the mask could stay on during... never mind. TOS. Respectfully, Your Grace, Dominica may be rash, but she means true and well. Schemes or surprises in your favor. Ooh, maybe. Zimuel might be scheming on our behalf. That could be nice to have. We do already have a spy master, but... Oh, man. Imagine trying to play, like, Crusader Kings 2 with a court of Twitch chat. That would be horrifying. Well, I say Crusader Kings 2, but I guess it'd be CK3 now. Unless I could, like, get everything for CK2. Alright, let's see Matthias again. And finally, we have the March's offering, Matthias, scion of the prestigious Tundra Lynx bloodline. A typical baron, really. Loud and brash and self-absorbed, but mostly well-meaning. Like most of the barons, his great passion is hunting. No beast is safe from his crossbow. Also got into a fight with his local bishop a couple years back. Gave him a bloody nose. See, well-meaning. This is true. I've seen on spy masters turn on kings, to be fair. I've seen queens turn on them as well. Alright, let's see here. Show me Dominica. From the coast, we have Dominica, the wealthy heiress to Lord Patrician Cody the Cat's estate. She's always getting herself into trouble for some reason or another, so she is a mischief maker. Her interests are typical of the coast. Money, 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 and making more of it. And apparently she has a dark side, though I don't know much more about that. I haven't seen a spouse betrayal. I don't think there's like an actual spouse betrayal event in game, aside from like, I guess technically like the divorce, but you usually deserve it. I have made my decision. We're going to go with Dominica of the Coast. Because my poor, sweet treasury, I want to have money, chat. I need money, my nobles. And every time I have money, we have oodles and gobs of money. And then suddenly, we need to hire mercenaries to go deal with the bandits. And then we need to hire, we need to increase the pay for the mercenaries or kick them out. And then they burn everything down and I have to pay reparations. The estate will probably give you the money you desire. I certainly hope so, Cody the Cat. The East takes great offense to this in a stable way. Thank goodness. Definitely not in a teetering near rebellion way. I could have smoothed over relations there, but... Alright. We're going to end the season. So, end of the year. Monarch's Iron Choice. Monarch can mark their preferred voting option. If chosen, they will gain +1 authority. If nobles vote for the Monarch's choice, they gain 500 personal wealth. Or swing votes. After voting, nobles can change their minds and vote on a different option. You know, I have never actually played swing votes, so we're gonna fuck around and find out, I think. I love Golden. I also love Monarch's Golden Choice. It's a really good one. But I feel like swing votes could be interesting. So we're gonna mess around. We're gonna take swing votes. Let's do it. This will allow for sudden but inevitable betrayals, I'm sure. The assassin returns. It's a night like any other. You're lying in your king-sized bed, alone. Something wakes you up. A sudden and pressing lack of oxygen. You gasp for air, but none comes. A huge, leathery brown python is wrapped around your throat. Oh, shit. Call for your honor guard. Your honor guard posts themselves outside your door every night. You try to call for them, but all you can do is quietly wheeze. Uh-oh. Oh, fuck. Your vision is going black. You don't have much time left. Reach under your pillow for your hidden dagger. You scramble under your pillow and your fingers close around a hilt. The world is very far away. You feel like you're falling. Stab the snake! Your tiny blade bounces off its tough scales. Thinking quickly, you plunge the dagger into the beast's eye, and it recoils, hissing. You gasp for precious, precious air. Meanwhile, the python writhes into a new shape, a hooded, cloaked figure. You recognize the assassin you hired to kill the songstress. I thought the Viper's children never betrayed their employers. I am no longer a child of the Viper. The songstress is my mistress now. My goddess. Call for your honor guard. Upon hearing the shouting, your 4 mercenaries burst into the bedchamber, their swords drawn. Don't worry, your majesty. We'll make short work of this scum. Your honor guard and the assassin engage. Somehow the lone killer downs several of them in an instant. Though they received only superficial cuts, they're already convulsing with foam dribbling from their lips. Eventually, the assassin is cut down, but not before your 4 mercenaries have been utterly decimated. The few survivors die within hours, also foaming. Your Majesty, are you all right? I just saw a snake turn into a man. Yes, I heard rumors that the children of the Viper could turn themselves into snakes. Until now, I thought it mere superstition. That was our assassin! Indeed, the songstress turned our own assassin against us. We underestimated her. Luckily, her magic must have muddled the assassin's judgment. Otherwise, he'd simply have stabbed you in your sleep rather than strangling you in his serpent shape. I'm sure the Viper's children will give you your money back. This is a terrible breach of professional ethics. In the meantime, I'll investigate this troublesome bard. God damn it. Also, welcome, Derp Cats. You are a Count. We got Count Derp Cats. The twin sibling of Count Not a Noble. I almost died. That's horrifying. Get your money down? Yes, I should. But I also like having it. How can I be the father of the nation if I leave it destitute? You know? The net closes. Your Majesty, our snitch has told us the location of the gallows man's hideout. We must strike quickly before he moves on. Count not a noble. This is it. A chance to finally bring an end to the bandit problem. Treasury too low. It's a travesty, chat. Look at it. Treasury too low. No. Well, I'm going to allow for swing votes on this. Vote as you will. Just know that you can vote again and change your vote should you find some sort of strategy that you wish. Ooh, let's see here. We have the counts and the barons rallying onto B. Meanwhile, the patricians are starting to split their vote. Counts also splitting. Just to run through the schemes again, the patricians want to lower farming. The counts want to raise stability. And the barons want to raise the treasury. Alright. That said, I'll give it 3, 2, 1. Dominica is the gallows man? That would be a hell of a fucking twist. Like, we send, like, all of our soldiers to go and fight her. And it's just, oh, honey, I was expecting you. 70% chance failed. XCOM moment. Let's go. Oh, boy. The gallows man and his bandits are hiding out in a dank little cave littered with broken bottles and chicken bones. After your soldiers charge in, they discover that the cave makes for a perfect choke point. To make matters worse, the gallows man has set up dozens of traps, boiling oil, rolling boulders, hidden pits full of spikes. It's a mess. The gallows man doesn't win, of course. He's found dead at the back of the cave, filled with arrows, snarl on his lips. But there's 3 soldiers dead for every slain bandit. Military is now weak in the counts. Okay. You know, chat, maybe we don't need to worry about the counts rebelling. It makes you look weak. How could a bunch of lowly robbers inflict such terrible losses on a trained army? Okay. I do not have a line to the devs. Like, I do not have a way to contact the devs that I am aware of. But if anyone here does, if we can, like, get a clip of this, it makes you look weak. Sounds like it would lower my authority? Because I lost, essentially. But my authority is now up at commanding. I went from 5 to 6 authority. Because I lost. Makes you look weak. How could a bunch of lowly robbers inflict such terrible losses on a trained army? I don't know. On the bright side, the roads in the east are safe to travel once more. Stability goes up. Trade is now struggling. And defiance is now aloof. Alright. And we have, finally, the royal wedding. Your wedding to Dominica is, naturally, the talk of the kingdom. Nobles and peasants alike travel from across the realm to attend. For a week and a day, the capital is one giant party. It feels like you're the only one not taking part. Instead, you're getting ready for the ceremony. Soon enough, you're standing in St. Bertrand's Cathedral with Dominica at your side. Do you take this woman as your lawfully wedded wife? Asked the Archbishop. I do. Then I pronounce you king and wife. After the wedding, of course, there's a feast, and after the feast, a dance. Your new wife, Dominica, dances so vigorously that she spills wine all over herself. By the time you find yourself alone with Dominica, it's past midnight, and you've never felt more tired. Good God! I am so drunk, and yet somehow not drunk enough. Time for more wine. Who am I to question? Servants, bring us wine. That's the spirit. Let's see here. So, what do you like to do in your spare time? Usually I'm trying to turn a profit. There's so much money out there, and so little time to make it. What did you think of the wedding? Oh, it was a damned beautiful affair from start to finish, wasn't it? I had a whale of a time. Shall we go to bed together? No time like the present, eh? She swags back the last dregs of her wine and leads you to bed. Let's go! See, look at this foolish heathen patrician. Matthias was so much better. Matthias is a Giga Chad. Oh no. The people are going to rally to put Matthias on my throne now. I swear. We know how to make a lasting impression. The patricians certainly do, Killer Man. Like, who wears bright green to a wedding? My wife. Your queen. Wears green to the wedding. That said, in season. Outwitting the Spy Master. Far in the east, Count Vimur is hosting a dinner party in his castle with a few distinguished guests. Our plans are going better than expected. The Spy Master thinks that all is well in the kingdom, and while the cat's away, the mice shall play. Countess Alexa. And when the cat returns, it will find the mice have poisoned its kibble. The analogy's a little tortured now, but I like the enthusiasm. Our next step is to replace the palace watch with our own agents. Should be easy enough. If the king can't pay them, the watch will look for money elsewhere. No, people are going to be fighting over my treasury. My poor sweet treasury. For the next stage of their scheme, the counts must lower the treasury to 1,500 or less in 2 seasons. So assuming this does not immediately go through, we need to hover between 1.6 and 1.9. Unless Baron scheme? Okay, there's the Baron scheme. I had a feeling that was about to go through. Discontent on the rise. Baron Mystic Kelpie is hosting yet another tour of his trophy room. Once everyone has finished admiring the new stuffed lion, they settle down to discuss the real reason for their meeting. Baron Mystic Kelpie. The commoners are getting rowdy, and it's all thanks to us. Now that they know how much wealth the king's hiding, they're itching to get rid of him. Jacob. Careful we don't get them too riled up, mind you. Or they'll start asking questions about our wealth as well. Yeah, now it's time to incite some real chaos. Show them that King Gottfried is not only greedy, he's utterly incompetent too. For the next stage of their scheme, the barons must lower stability to 4 or less in 4 seasons. Matthias is already the Shadow King of the country. Oh, now that's some high treason there. Rich barons can't talk. Funny thing about the barons, they are all remarkably wealthy. You can tell who was here for the first auction because they're broke and who sat through the first auction. All right, that said, everyone's scheme has made it to level 2, and I have successfully wed, but I have yet to produce an heir. A new honor guard. Thank goodness. I was really worried about the fact that my honor guard was dead. That said, because I didn't kill kingdom soldiers, I think that's why I have this chance. The deaths of your honor guard in the line of duty was a tragedy, your majesty. But we don't have time to mourn, says the marshal. We must replace them at once. The king needs protection. What are my options? Each region offers a selection of elite guards. It counts with the Knights of the Order of the Drowned Rose, the patricians with champion gladiators from the arena. The barons offer a squad of battle-hardened veteran soldiers. Of course, since your previous honor guard were foreign mercenaries who fulfilled their contractual obligations by dying to protect you, there are no other mercenaries who have expressed interest. Alright, so let's see here. Tell me about the Eastern Knights. The Order of the Drowned Rose are highly respectable. They'll understand palace etiquette, but it's been years since they fought in an actual battle. They mostly learn poems these days. Angry face, our veterans. Okay, we'll see what the veterans here. These soldiers have fought more battles than they've had hot dinners. They'll be uncouth, no doubt, and won't adapt well to life in the palace, but they're loyal and tough as nails. Let's see here. Oh, Derpcats, you were talking about the Order of the Drowned Rose. Those are your veterans. I see. Veteran soldiers are clearly the best option. There's undisciplined gladiators and English teachers. You know, you do make a compelling argument. But the barons have been talking some pretty mad smack recently, saying that Matthias is the secret Shadow King, and that you're thinking of all these ways to undo me, you know? And that makes me a little nervous about having your soldiers as my guards, you know? That does make me a little nervous. Alright, tell me about the Coastal Gladiators. A gang of low-born crooks who have turned themselves into celebrities through their skill at chopping other people to bits. They're vain and selfish. Their skill in battle is undeniable, but can you trust them? Cowardly Easterner betraying their own region for the patricians. Do you really want the Eastern traitors keeping you safe? The Rose Guard gets the job done. Ooh, they are red-themed. But on the other hand, I could have the Emperor has a text-to-speech device, oiled-up custodies. Memes. You can trust them. You don't want riders or rude barbarians now. I can't be showing too much favor to the East, though. I took an Eastern wife, and now, you know, I'd be taking on... Or not Eastern wife. Shame on me. I'm sorry, Counts. I took on a patrician wife, a coastal wife, and then I'd be taking on coastal guards. Funny custodies. It is true, they would be funny custodies. I'm not sure. Flower poets or whatever will just have to go on maternity leave when you need them most. You'll be sleeping on the couch tonight if you don't take the gladiators. Look, you may be my father-in-law, but chill, homie, please. I'll have you know I am the king in the castle. I do have a leaning between the Baron's veterans and the Coastal Gladiators, I think. Because while the Counts, you know, the Knights of the Order of the Drowned Rose, Rose aesthetic obviously appeals, don't get me wrong. But I do like my Honor Guard a little battle-hardened. And the Knights of the Order of the Drowned Rose are spending most of their time writing poetry these days. Which is a little... It is a point of concern. Because the next time the songstress turns my assassin against me, I would rather that they not read out a soliloquy to the assassin and instead kill the assassin that is trying to murder me. You know? They will practice more in your court. If all else fails, we're rich as hell. You don't want the barons to have the opportunity to take your money, says Cody. I mean, we could go with the Knights of the Drowned Rose. And then, you know, we can have the Marshal help whip them into shape, maybe? At least no fish-loving crooks. Dang. Also, look at your Marshal. He looks scary. They also look like a Marcher resident. Do you really want to anger him by opposing his people? Ooh. Bold words. Bold words indeed. Our fish is delicious. Worthy investment for the veterans. Alright. He has no allegiance to the march, only to the king? I would hope so. The marshal served my father as well. I have made my decision. Like how you have no allegiance to the king, only the east. My goodness, calling each other out in chat. I await your verdict with bated breath, your majesty. We are going to go with the veterans of the march. I need solid, dependable soldiers after the loss of the battle-bitten brethren. Boo, good. Good choice, my king. I know this is not what some of you wanted, but an attempt on my life has been made, and I need strong soldiers who can defend me and are willing to die to protect me. So for that reason, I have chosen the veterans. Grumble, grumble. I'm sorry, Counts. The veterans arrive a few weeks later. They march into the throne room in perfect formation before lining up behind your throne, hands on their sword hilts. Each soldier sports a bigger scar than the last. Alright, and now the songstress's secret. Your spy master silently appears at your desk. She has returned from her mission to investigate the songstress, and you scan her for signs that she's lost her will. You look smug. What? I said you look smug. She pulls a pair of plugs out of her ears. The songstress is a witch, drawing power from her lyre. It's made from magical wood, some wizard who accidentally turned himself into a tree. When she sings while playing the lyre, people obey, but without that, she's nothing. I'd like to request that dirt cats be removed from the royal court for inappropriate behavior. My goodness. My court is all flailing over themselves. Also, I like how send Eastern soldiers with earplugs to arrest her is not a military check. Thank goodness for the Eastern military of 2. Thank goodness that'd be going off my thing. Alright. Let's see here. So, we're not going to allow the songstress to keep playing. We are not doing that. A is obviously my preferred option, you know? I don't have a way to really sway the vote into that, though. I don't have Monarch's Golden Choice, unfortunately. Have at it. Have at it, my nobles. Let thy will be known. Nice try, King. Damn, they're on to me. No reverse voting. Yes, yes. For the memes, for the lols. Voting tied at 0, so I get to pick. You fool, you will cause the Eastern's plot to continue. Will I? What's reverse? Oh, so how the reverse vote works is the option with the least amount of votes is the winner. And we have it tied, so we're going to have a deaf crossbowman snipe her from a distance. We pull a little cheeky. A week later, the songstress is performing in a market square. She opens her mouth to sing, but as she does, there's a sudden thud. A crossbow bolt is embedded in her sternum. As she folds up, the enraged audience start tearing each other apart in a frenzy. The riots rage for weeks. But when they die down, it is as though a spell has been lifted. Stability is now stable. The common folk forget the songstress entirely, moving on to some new obsession. We sniped Losa. And with that, my good counts, another of your issues is resolved. I have taken down the Gallow Man. I have brought down the songstress. Hey yo, we have an event all the way in the coast. We have an event that isn't in the east or the capital. Holy shit! Whoa! Look at it! Look at it right there. Let's go! We got a green event. The dead Gallow Man was a fake. Dominica is the real Gallows Man. Bold assumptions to levy against the Queen Consort. Speaking of which, hello, honey. Dominica. Gottfried, I had something I wanted to ask you. What can I do for you? As you surely know, I run a very successful jewelers guild back home in the coast. But the current laws are a little restrictive for my trade. Lots of tariffs and regulations, you know how it is. I was hoping you could push for some changes in the council. Eliminate some of the import duties on Ateshi jewels, perhaps? You want me to give the coast preferential treatment? I think it's only fair. The other regions just can't compete with us in the jewelry trade anyway. You'd say otherwise if you saw those jewels. Typical greedy coastal rat. That is your queen. Just for that outrage. Fine. I'll assemble the council. Ah, excellent. I'll see you there. So, we can either reduce the import taxes on gemstones from Atesh, ban the import of Ateshi gemstones, or do nothing. And, yeah, we're not banning the import. I'm mad with power. Make thy will be known. Let's see here. We got patricians going on to A. We got counts and barons starting to go for C, however. Ooh. The others are rallying against this. My goodness. Almost a tied vote. Fair enough. Alrighty. Voting has closed. Do nothing. When Dominica doesn't get the result she wanted, she leans over to whisper in your ear. At least you tried. I'll find another way to get what I need. We tried. You know? Such acts of cruelty from the counts and barons both. I know. Out of nowhere, too. Sudden, just cruelty towards the coast. When you get a divorce, Matthias will return. I hope you make a better decision next. Are you trying to drive Dominica away? Is that what this is? You're trying to force her aside to have Matthias step in? Your supposed Shadow King. Alright, let's end the season. So, we are at the next auction. Just in case, we have some people who are new, because I know we had several people join, I think, since the last auction. How this works is each noble has a personal wealth. You can check it either just on this, you know, it shows it on the screens, like the richest nobles, and I've got a full list here. But also in the extension, if you're on PC, you should be able to see your scheme and your personal wealth for, you know, like your faction details. Now, how this works is it's !fund XY, where X is the character code, so the letter A, B, C, D, E, F, and then Y is the amount you are pledging. If it's an effect such as, say, military down, like the stadium, B, that would be the Baron's military going down. If it's an effect like stability up, however, say like not the prison, but the library, the prison is stability down, that would affect the overall kingdom stats. So, you are not bound to bidding on your faction. You can bid on any faction, and it is a 60-second timer once I hit the button, and let's go to the races. Let's see. We're off. A shooting up 400. We got F at 250. We've got prison and library neck and neck, trying to raise and lower stability. We've got 1,500 coming out for the prison. Baron Mystic Kelpie going all in, dropping straight to 0. We're about halfway through our timer. Let's see here. It looks like library. We see 100 coming in for the Deer Park in the Patricians region. All the others, however, not much. 1,999 total for the prison, just shy of 2K. 20 seconds remaining. It looks like we might have a draw here in terms of stability. 15 seconds. Be careful. If your stream is at all lagging or delayed, if you're trying to do a last-second snipe, you might fall just shy. We got more money coming in for the library. It's up to 700. Ooh, we've got 750, though, coming in for the Deer Park. Time is up. Buildings funded. We have Baron Mystic Kelpie funding the construction of a prison, lowering the stability in the kingdom. And then also we have Cody the Cat funding the Deer Park for 650 to a total of 750, which is going to lower farming in the region of the coast. Well played all. One step closer to the schemes for everybody, it would seem. Also, about your heir. Ooh. Your marriage to Dominica has grown stale. Oh, you get along well enough, and you've made some good memories together, but there's no spark. She cares more about maximizing profits than your happiness, but spark or no spark, you still need an heir. Queen Mother. Congratulations are in order. The royal wedding was a magnificent affair. It went about as well as could be expected. You're still in power, aren't you? Still got the crown on your head. That's what matters. You've done well so far, but something's still missing. An heir. You need someone young, whose loyalty is assured. A child of your own would do the trick, even if they're a bastard, or the youngest of your many cousins. Get rid of greedy Coasty. Matthias would have been better. As your father-in-law, I advise your next decisions carefully. My wife and I will have a child together. I will do what I can to rekindle things. Ah, the traditional method. No one will object to that. I'll arrange for you to take a month off from ruling so you can get down to business. I got a month off? Let's fucking... Whoa! Alright, and we've got 2 events coming in for the March. We finally have Marcher events. Let's see here. At the Ash Medium border, a city in flames. Baron Pizza Time Peepo. My liege, there's been a terrible fire in the city of Augsburg. Where once there were buildings, there is now a field of smoldering ash. Dozens of peasants have died. Filled with religious conviction, the townsfolk seized a traveling wizard and attempted to burn him at the stake for practicing dark magic. He walked out of the city unharmed. Same cannot be said for those who tried to burn him. This is why you never tangle with wizards. I was hoping the council might unlock some funds from the treasury so we could rebuild. So we can either rebuild the city exactly as it was, rebuild in stone rather than wood, offer no help, or find and punish the wizard responsible. You know what? Swing vote. Go ham. I'm fine with all these options. This will be interesting. My king, you need those funds for your month-long beach trip. Ah, you do make a compelling argument. Cody the Cat says, offer no help. Barons. Ah, they were quiet for a bit, but now the barons and the coast rallying together to offer no help to the barons. Fair enough. The council has decided. The barons who came pleading for aid choose willingly to offer themselves no help. You send word to the barons of Augsburg that they will be expected to rebuild their own city without the king's help. Some barons' wealth has decreased. Defiance is now cordial, trade is now modest, and stability is now teetering. I see. Great God! What's the point of having a king in the first place? I'm sorry. Clever red marchers. They denied your treasury and set up their stability. This is an issue. Strange crops. Barren tundralinks. The harvest in the march has been an utter disaster. Look at this turnip! Let me take a look. The turnip is riddled with rot and twisted into the grotesque shape of a skull. Half the harvest is like this. We need help if we're going to get through the winter. Farming is now needful. Ouch. Ouch. I look like I'm 70 and 20. Kinda, sorta, yeah. Alright. So we can either... A, this is probably nothing to worry about. B, send scholars from Quell University to investigate strange crops. Or C, raid other regions, granaries, to support the barons. Or raid granaries and send scholars to investigate. I leave it up to you, my nobles. It's probably the wizard you pissed off. Burn down your village, curse your crops, you know? This is why you don't fuck with wizards. That's why we need the bees. Ooh, all of the barons rallying together on A but being overpowered by the rallying force of both of the other factions who want to raid the granaries and send scholars to investigate. My goodness. Thank you, Your Majesty. A most fair judgment. Farming is now sufficient. It's almost harvesting season. Count Derpscats? Fair, you call it? That we should share our hard-earned grain and get nothing in return. The free market could have solved this problem, Your Majesty. Derpscat. Gotcha. Although the other nobles grumble, redistributing the grain from the other granaries does save the march from an uncomfortable winter. Farming is now fertile. Farming is now meager. You also send dozens of scholars from the university to examine the fields in the march. Hopefully they can identify the cause and prevent this from happening again. Alright, that's the end of the season. Blackmail and bribery. In the darkest depths of an eastern forest, Count Vermeer has gathered his fellow plotters around a mossy stone obelisk. Some of our bribes have been accepted, but not enough. The king is paying the palace watch well enough that their loyalties aren't easily swayed. Countess Alexa. So we have some of the watch in our pockets. Isn't that enough? No, not yet. We can't make a move until we're sure we won't be discovered. The Count's aim is to lower the treasury to 1,500 or less. The Dreams of Being. Let me get a sip before I go and read this one. Wet my whistle. Along the coast, Lord Patrician Unknown Contraption is visiting the wizard Scrampton in his cliffside tower, built of knotted coral and seashells. Scrampton. Their side of the bargain is complete. The Dreams of Being are no longer a threat. Their palaces stand empty. Lord Patrician Unknown Contraption. My thanks, Great Wizard. Now, shall we discuss how to overthrow this troublesome king? So, your options, patricians. You can either curse him with a fate worse than death. Your goal is to raise trade. Or send him far away so he can never return. Raise stability. Matthias would never take a bribe. This is true. Matthias is a baron proper. Let's see here. It looks like they are going to rally to raise trade and curse me with a fate worse than death. Okay. Voting has closed. How should Scrampton use his magic to finally overthrow King Gottfried? Curse him with a fate worse than death. Worse than death, eh? Well, it can be done, but I will require an additional fee. Enough gold to sink a galleon, perhaps. That's a good start. Depths below. I thought we'd already sealed the deal. No. Something you should learn. Dealing with wizards is a tricky business. Now get me that gold. For the final stage of their scheme, the patricians must raise their trade to at least 9. You saw nothing, my king. 'Tis merely a joke, but do let us make money. Speaking of money, the trade bonus has rolled around. The patricians make 500 wealth, selling penny stocks to gullible peasants. Other nobles gain 200 wealth. You not trust the Easterner rat that you married? I'll have you know I married a coastal woman. But let's see here. We do have some points of concern. In that the, The patricians are in the end game. They are at the final stage of their scheme, which is horrifying. The barons are about to enter the final stage. So, let's see here. Counts. We need to work together here. We're both in danger, to say the least. If the patricians can get their trade up to 9, we lose. Barons, this goes for you as well. I know you will soon be selecting the final stage of your own scheme, but as things stand, the patricians are the closest to winning. So, we need to unify a little bit here. So, something that I could do is willfully lower my treasury below the threshold for the counts. I could set us up to where we have a full end game, but we need to do what we can to stop the patricians. This would be an outrage. I'm sorry, father-in-law. My king, remember where Dominica came from. This is true, she did come from the coast. And she is obsessed with her profit margins, though the royal treasury has not seen a cent of it. Divorce your dirty, unfaithful, greedy wife. Your part will be done. I don't have a way to just reach out and talk to her, but assuming things do not go well, I may be left with no choice. Just remember the coast is rich because of their profit margins. This is true. But then again, we also have Derpsy Cat is at the top of the richest nobles list. I think that's before the bribe is factored in. Yes, that is. Matthias will eliminate her. I beg of you, your grace, spare our pockets. I am worried about this. So, also, welcome, Glenn. You have joined the Counts. I can tell because you just popped up on the richest nobles list. Right by the top. Just give us more time. The treasury will be in the thousands. Fish lovers' honor. So, Counts. Can I count on you to help me keep these patricians at bay if I willfully lower the treasury? Can I count on the support of the Counts of the East to help prevent the patricians from taking my head? I would rather not be cursed with a fate worse than death. I will do my best. Yes, you can, sire. The Counts want your money lowered. Don't trust them. This is true. This is true, Baron Tundrelings. However, some concessions must be made. If I am to gain their support in keeping these patricians at bay, I need to give in return. And in order to give enough, because if I had you on the common tax instead of a bribe, my good Marcher Barons, I would be taking wealth from you all. So, this is not a bad play necessarily for you either, my Marcher Barons. With this, you will have your coffers filled, and you can use your wealth at the auction to help keep things at bay. The holy and venerable and Grand Marcher would never betray the Grand Kingdom. If I go common tax here, I don't think that's enough to secure the Count's allegiance. Make it so. Below 1500? It is so. We do what we must. Also, no events in the east for a while now. My goodness, we had those all at the start. Alright. A horrible haunting. During a meeting with the council nobles, a commotion erupts as Baron Pizzatime Peepo lets out a piercing scream. By the 9th! Gadzooks! It's here! It's here! He faints away, falling to the ground with a crash. By the 9th god, someone fetch water! Servant runs for water and holds it to Pizzatime Peepo's mouth. I thought I'd be safe from it here, but unfortunately... When we built that prison on my lands, some manner of specter was disturbed, and it's made me its target. Dominica is here. My wife is not haunting you, Pizzatime Peepo. No, it's Dominica. Marches. The marchers all saying, it's my coastal wife. What's it doing exactly? Count Glenn. Are we really entertaining this nonsense? I hear voices, Your Majesty. Little pinpricks at the back of my mind. Just now, I saw a horrid grey shape hanging over me. Its face a rotting mask. We're too old for campfire tales, Pizzatime Peepo. I beg you, my liege and gathered nobles, come to my aid. We must banish this wraith. So, we can either send an inquisitor to exorcise the site, research the land on which the prison is built, or ignore the situation. All will be fine. Sounds a lot like Dominica. Her face a rot. Oh. You know, Tundra, you're making it really hard for me to want to help out your fellow Baron here. That I will be known. So many harsh accusations upon my daughter. I know, Cody. It's crazy. It's wild to think about. Alright, votes are coming in. Counts splitting. Same with the patricians. But the marchers rally to say, yeah, you know what? Ignore him. He's crazy. Such blasphemous slander will not be tolerated, lordlings. My goodness. Killer man bursting onto the scene. Great God! Why does this confounded council never take a baron seriously? He storms out. Glenn 149 laughs behind his hand. Count Glenn, how unbecoming. Snickering in court. My goodness. Alright. Well, blood money. Lord Patrician, unknown contraption. Excuse me. Nothing is wrong. Absolutely nothing is wrong in the coast. Well, this calls for a celebratory glass of wine, I should think. There's definitely not an old witch who lives at the border of my lands, and I definitely haven't been having money troubles. And most importantly, she didn't offer me a fortune in exchange for just a drop of my blood, an offer which I absolutely didn't accept. You keep looking at me like I've trod on your foot. Ever since I didn't accept the witch's bargain, I haven't found myself obeying her every command. I definitely still rule over my estate, not her. Furthermore, she didn't forbid me from telling you any of this, and I'm not using negative statements to bypass her magic. Dominica's disturbed at unknown contraption's mind. Dominica... My goodness. Barons, please. It has been months since I have wed my wife Dominica, and still you make such cruel jabs at her, calling her a wraith, a specter with a rotting mask, a witch. Truly, this is deplorable behavior. Shame on the lot of you. Hang on, I'm starting to think you mean the opposite of what you say. No, Your August Majesty, that's not the case. My king, when is the last time she spoke to you? Oh, don't worry. We communicate in other ways over the most recent month. Let's fetch the court physician to see if we can lift your curse. After a week confined to a cold iron box with nothing to eat but salt, the magic stops affecting Lord Patrician Unknown Contraption so strongly. I don't know who she is. Dominica is a woman from the coast who I took to be the queen consort. But the barons seem overly obsessed with a singular woman. Is this the markings of jealousy? Oh. He's even able to talk about his ordeal directly. Hey, let's go. Feeding him salt and keeping him in a box for a week. I always tolerated that bloody witch. She'd sell medicine to the peasants and help them find lost sheep. I never suspected she was capable of something like this. We need to call a vote. Send a regiment to take back my stolen lands. Kinda sounds like this. It's a little self-inflicted. You did offer blood, but I'm not sure we can just tolerate a witch, you know? So, should the council help Lord Patrician Unknown Contraption recover his land from a witch? We can either take back the land and burn the witch at the stake, 40% military roll. Take back Unknown Contraption's land, but let the witch go free. Or let Unknown Contraption suffer the consequences of his bargain. Start the vote. Here we go. Derpsy Cat trying to rally the counts. Let's see here. Cody the Cat says he wants to try and take back Unknown Contraption's land and burn the witch at the stake. Unknown Contraption also wanting vengeance upon that witch. The patricians rallying as a whole to roll this military. Barons of the March also rallying with them a little bit. We got Tundra Lynx. Pizza Time Peepo splitting the vote. And Mystic Kelpie deciding for the barons that we are going to try and burn the witch at the stake. We failed a 70% roll earlier. Let's see if we can get the 40. Council has decided to burn the witch at the stake. Military challenge failed. Military is now weak. When the coastal troops arrive on Lord Patrician Unknown Contraption's estate, the land itself fights them. The soil swallows them whole. Trees snatch them up and tear them apart. By the time they fight their way through to the manor, the witch has already escaped, along with what remained of Unknown Contraption's gold. Lord Patrician Unknown Contraption's wealth has decreased to 0. Maybe not all the barons are terrible after all. Are you sure, Cody? This did not seem to work nicely for you. The peasants have no memory of their time under the witch's rule, but the churches have been burned with profane messages scrawled on their charred walls, and the fields have been sown with salt. My goodness. Blah, we had too much wine the night before the raid. The fools let Dominica escape. Lynx, my goodness. You keep waving these accusations. You have no proof. She's probably back in the palace by now. I'll have you know, Dominica has been hard at work. Very, very hard worker. Though I suppose I'm the one who's been hard at work. Anyway, a taxing issue. Your Majesty, help us. Lord Patrician Killerman of the coast has been bleeding us dry, ye eyes, says a peasant. Not literally, I hope. No, I'm making use of a common idiom, Your Majesty. Our taxes are 10 times higher than they've ever been. I can't afford to feed me cows. Treasurer. It's true, Your Majesty. Lord Patrician Killerman has been taxing his peasants at least twice as much after the highest noble. Or at least twice as much as the next highest noble. Lord Patrician Killerman. It's been a hard year, Your Serene Highness. I have barely any gold in my vault. I'm just doing what I can to stay afloat. You're clearly having a hard time. I'll let you off, lowering the farming even more. Let's see. What about this poor peasant's cows? A pox on the stupid cows. Let's see what the council thinks of this, Alright. So, what should be done about Lord Patrician Killerman's punitive taxation of his peasants? We can either throw Lord Patrician Killerman into the dungeons to teach him a lesson, allow him to keep overtaxing his peasants, or have a royal tax collector take over tax duties in the coast. Let thy will be known. Those poor cows, Matthias wouldn't have let this happen. And you were saying that Dominica allowed this, that Dominica sanctioned Killerman? He's his own noble. And he wants to throw himself into the dungeon. Hey, yo, Killerman. You're learning some humility already. My goodness. Fuck it, I deserve this. You can never escape the doom that befell your predecessors in the coast, huh? Alright, here's the votes. You're throwing Lord Patrician Killerman in the dungeon to teach him a lesson. Depths below, not the dungeon! Why would you take the side of some poxy citizens? Lord Patrician Killerman is flung into your deepest cell and his ill-gotten gold confiscated. The other patricians grumble at the imprisonment of their compatriot. Defiance is now aggrieved, authority is now iron-fisted, and Lord Patrician Killerman's wealth has decreased. Time him out for added immersion. I don't think I can, because Killerman II has joined the council. Killerman, no! Rule number 1 of being a patrician, once you have their money, you never give it back. You see, I would be tempted to do that meme if he was not immediately replaced. If there was actually like a delay, if there was like a 1-season delay, that would be kind of funny. But it'd be horrendous for balancing reasons. Blackmail and bribery. Okay, this is going to be 2 scheme things back to back. Let me wet my whistle. Alright. Count the myrrh. Luck is with us, my friend. The palace watch are in our pocket. I took our money gladly. The kingdom can barely afford to pay them a living wage. Countess Alexa. Music to my ears. Soon the throne will be ours. Indeed it will. But now we must plan our next steps. So, voting is open. Counts. What are you going to do? Your options are to kill the king and place their own claimant on the throne, which your goal would be to lower my authority, or control the king with threat of assassination, raise own military. What is it going to be, Counts? What are we thinking? Give you a moment to decide amongst yourselves. 0 seconds remaining. Come on, Counts. Surely one of you has an opinion. Uh-oh. I see. Am I still... Okay, I'm still live. We've reconnected. Also, Tundra Links, thank you for the follow. It looks like we're good. Okay. Also, follower goal met. Let's go! Pizza Time Peepo, thank you for the follow as well. I'm not sure if these are just now coming through, but apparently I've reconnected to the stream. Seems my Streamlabs might have been having issues. And so was the game. Cody the Cat, now following. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry if these are just now coming through. Just forgot to follow this and it's being fun. Gotcha. Alright. We'll give the counts a moment to see if they want to break their tie. Can't see stats. I gotcha. You can either lower my authority. My authority is 8. Or you can raise your own military. Your military is 2. Join he? Uh-oh. Do we get people disconnected? You should all still be in. Everyone should still be connected, so we should be good. Yeah, it looks like my internet might have hiccuped there. Sorry about that. But we are no longer tied, so they're going to control the king with the threat of assassination. What's the Baron's current phase goal? Stability at 4 or less for their stage 2. So I'm probably about to read your scheme next, if I had to assume. Count Vermeer. Over the next few months, we'll have our troops infiltrate the capital, disguised as burghers. They'll swap places with the Palace Watch, one by one. Once the king realizes he is surrounded by our troops, it'll be too late. He'll be a helpless little fly, caught in our web. Countess Alexa. Magnificent. But once we've turned the king into our puppet, won't the patricians and barons notice? That's why we need a strong army to make them think twice about challenging us. United with the king's forces, we'll be unstoppable. For the final stage of their scheme, the counts must raise their military to at least 5. Alright. And now we have laws. I'm not a fan of swing votes. Stop the count could be kind of funny. Put some real pressure on you guys to vote swiftly. Or you could do anonymous voting, so that way hide your votes from each other. I think we're going to go with stop the count, replacing swing votes. We're going to end the year. Uh-oh. Seeds of Rebellion. Marshal. That's the 5th peasant I've had to hang this week. Just like all the others, she was trying to steal our gold and give it to the poor. Pah! What do they need with gold anyway? Spymaster. Something is amiss, Your Majesty. Someone has been stirring up discontent amongst the peasantry, and I have reason to believe it is the barons. Why would the barons stir up trouble with the common folk? A peasant's uprising is trouble if not de-escalated quickly. The barons will capitalize on the instability to install Jacob as king. So we kill a few more. Put the fear of the 9th into them. You misunderstand. That is exactly what the barons want. It will cause chaos. Your Majesty, you must get a grip on the common folk. If the kingdom is stable, discontent will not be able to spread as easily. This will give me time to root out the conspirators. The kingdom could certainly be doing better. If things don't change soon, these protests will only get worse. Perhaps the council will aid you in this endeavor. So, we have a variety of options. We can either say that everyone should chip in, pay for some new hospitals. You know, that'll help stop the riots. We can promise some reforms to the common folk to keep them calm, which will delay the scheme for a season. Or, peasants are always unhappy about something. Let them riot. We want Matthias on the throne, not Jacob. I, as a rich noble, suggest chipping in. Ooh. Well, let's go ahead and start the vote. Let thy will be known. What are the thoughts? Let's see here. We see a patrician wanting to delay for only 1 season. We've got a 3-way split between the factions here. Riots are bad for profit, but so is paying for hospitals. Unknown contraption siding with his fellow patrician. The barons all rallying together. My goodness. We've got a tie coming out between B and C at the moment. I'll give a couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Dominica hates hospitals. So, just to make sure I have all the rumors about my wife all together. She is a grim specter with a rotting mask, a witch, and also a staunch advocate against medicine. Correct? Also, we are going to delay the scheme for a season. Oh, and yes, and she's also the gallows man. Not rumors, my lord. We speak the truth. Oh, and she doesn't love you. Yes, how could I forget? Knife to my heart, that rumor. You promise whatever you can to the peasants to keep them on side. Public holidays, subsidized eyeglasses, complimentary branded ink pots. But it's only a stalling tactic. Without real change, you're still in hot water. You've hampered the Barons' efforts. Their stat goal will not be evaluated until the end of the next season. Okay, speaking of the Barons, Creeping Dread. Baron Pizza Time Peepo. Your Majesty, ignoring the ghost in my prison has only made matters worse. Oh no, what's happening? Terrible. It's terrible. Count Glenn. I never thought the Barons would be so overwrought. Is there even proof of this so-called ghost's presence? Every time I visit the prison, a terrible cold spreads down the back of my neck, and then I hear a voice calling my name. He claims to be my great-uncle Friedrich, who died last century in a dreadful hunting accident. He says if I don't pay attention, my lineage will be doomed and my name dishonored. What do you know of this great-great-uncle Friedrich? The family chronicles describe him as a bad-tempered old man with no sense of humor. An accurate portrayal, judging by his ghost. So, what should be done about this troublesome ghost? What are we thinking, my noble court? We can hire some adventurers to deal with it. We can tell Baron Pizza Time Peepo to offer something valuable to appease the ghost. If the ghost wants Baron Pizza Time Peepo to listen, he should do so. Or we can destroy the prison. Seeing as I'm not trying to go bankrupt, that's tempting, you know? That said, let's put some pressure on you. Stop the count. 15 seconds. Let it be known. Gotta vote, vote, vote. 10, 9, 8. Vote, vote, vote. Get him in there. Give Dominica money. She will stop. It's not my wife. 2, 1. Voting automatically closes. Stop the count. 3 nobles voted to destroy the prison. Derpsy Cat, Killer Man, and Alexa. You're destroying the prison. You have a demolition crew sent to Pizza Time Peepo's lands within the week. Soon the prison is nothing but rubble. Stability is now stable. Oh, because the prison was generating -1 stability. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay. No, Dominica will get the insurance money. My wife is a ghost witch who doesn't love me. She's also the gallows man, and she hates modern medicine. And she's collecting insurance money from the destruction of a prison built in Marshlands. You can only hope that the ghost is gone for good. we can't win, we will ruin Domenica's plan. A new discovery. The scholars you sent to investigate the strange harvest in the march have finally returned. Scholar. All of our texts came back negative. The blighted fields were dozens of miles apart, often with completely different crops. We only found one thing in common. Spit it out there, good fellow. The plowshares. They were all forged from iron from the same mine, owned by Baron Pizza Time Pipo. But that couldn't be the cause. It's impossible. Servants, fetch Baron Pizza Time Pipo, would you? Baron Pizza Time. It's so good to see you again. What is the meaning of this interruption, my liege? I was in the middle of brunch. Have you noticed anything unusual at your iron mine? Not your prison. We destroyed the prison. How about your iron mine? The ore has been odd recently. The miners say they can hear whispers in their minds when they pull it from the rock, that kind of thing. And you didn't see fit to tell anyone about this. Miners are a superstitious lot, your majesty. They're constantly complaining about ghosts and ghouls. All manner of bogarts in the tunnels. I received a letter from my sweet Domenica. It only reads, people mean send hugs. I will be sure to give her plenty of hugs, father-in-law. We just destroyed my prison and now I'm being accused of something so unhinged. Yeah, ghosts in a mine? No wonder she doesn't love the king. Should have gone with Matthias. He's very attractive. Also has a great personality. They're going to overthrow me and put Matthias in my place. We must inform the council. Don't make me close down my mine. I'll be ruined. So, what should be done about Baron Pizza Time Pipo's cursed iron mine? We can either close down the mine at once, or send, or to Quill Universe. And you know what? Let's see here. Ooh, he is pretty wealthy. I was thinking of vetoing it to like send the ore to Quill University, but let's see here. Pizza Time, have you spoken bad about my wife recently? Let's see here. Let's see. Domenica is my great-great Uncle Friedrich. Domenica is even worse. You should watch your tongue. I love democracy. I love the Republic. I love democracy. Memes. That's so good. Domenica's fooling you, my king. Also, you've seen her recently. My men says Matthias eloped with her. Surely not, my sweet Domenica. God, I have not been getting my king events at all. I've been so busy fighting fires in the kingdom. I have not gotten any capital events. I say that, but it's probably going to happen, like, immediately. What? My mine? But that's half my income! You can't just... And, Baron Pizza Time Pipo's wealth has decreased from 1,600 to 850. Defiance is now insolent in the march. Take money from the superstitious crazy man. You dismiss the babbling baron with a flick of your wrist. Alright, that's the end of that season. So, the barons are still trying to get the stability to just one lower, and then they will have their check. The, the counts need to get their military to 5, and the, not barons, but the patricians, I know my noble titles, I can speak English. The patricians want to raise their trade to 9. So, I still have no heir, which is a problem. So anyway, about my heir? Hey, there we go, finally. Your quest for an heir is finally complete. You stand before the council holding a small child in your arms. Should I die, I ask that my crown be passed down to... The council hall is filled with nervous silence. My son. The assembled nobles break out into polite applause. By designating an heir, you've cemented the stability of your kingdom. A baby boy! Yes! Count Derpsycat. Your Majesty, may I be the first to congratulate you on the birth of your son. What is his name? Gottfried II. How delightful, Your Majesty. I'm sure little Gottfried II will grow up to be a chip off the old block. Congratulations on finding an heir. Now you just need to fulfill your ambition to win the game. My farming ambition. Patricians! What have you done? You burned my bees, sullied the crops, sowed the fields with salt. I wanted to be the father of the nation. Expect a visit from the spy master soon. Damn it. Sorry, my king. Farming was no longer profitable. So you went cold turkey on it? That farming isn't like low. That farming is 0. That is a... I feel that is a crazy market correction to make, you know? Speaking of market corrections, costly crossbows. As you're walking beside the palace parade grounds, a crossbow bolt whizzes past your head and shatters against the wall behind you. Baron Tundralynx approaches, out of breath and waving frantically. He has a sleek, fancy-looking crossbow nestled in one hand. Great God, Your Majesty, I nearly took your head off! Also, Mr. Kelpie, thank you for the 100 cheer. Matthias is the true king. The throne will be his? Ooh. Not for lack of trying on the part of the barons, trying to shoot me with a crossbow? Tell me, in 5 words or less, why I shouldn't have you executed. I didn't mean to... Finger slipped. Damn, that was 6, wasn't it? Sorry to scare you. I just wanted to show you this crossbow. Can shoot 3 bolts a minute and punch through Ashmedian armor at 500 yards. Beautiful, isn't she? Trouble is, to achieve such accuracy and power, she needs to be crafted from springwood. Grows only in the forests of the coast. And those coastal bastards charge exorbitantly for it. That's the free market, I suppose. Pah! If this is what the free market looks like, let's put it in chains. That's what I say. The barons on the march are guarding your borders, my liege. Yet we can't afford to buy the weapons we need. If you want to keep your kingdom safe, the patricians must stop price gouging. Lord Patrician Cody the Cat. Your Serene Highness, this is outrageous. These barons just want a bargain. So, we can either put a price cap on the sale of springwood, order the patricians to send springwood to the barons for free, refuse to limit the free market, or plant a springwood grove in the march. Make thy will be known. I like how in character this version of me is. Yeah, you tried to take my head off with a crossbow. Ooh. Multiple factions getting split votes, but the patricians coming together wanting to refuse to limit the free market. It's a free market. This is business. Also, the barons are stinky. My goodness, father-in-law. All right. Voting tied at 3. Ooh, one snuck in. So we can either order the patricians to send Springwood to the barons for free or refuse to limit the free market. B, please. Yeah, if I refuse to limit the free market, trade does go up, which is a little concerning. This is definitely a tough situation here. But I cannot risk trade going up by 2. If I knew for a fact that it was only going to be like trade up by 1, I could maybe do it. But it's just a risk. I can't lose my head just yet. I'm trying to avoid a fate worse than death. Depths below. Free? Free? And how are we supposed to pay for it to be cut down, chopped up, and transported? Defiance is now furious. It's just business, Your Grace. I'm sorry. Baron Tundrelings, you'll have to be resourceful, won't you? Ha! The council has spoken. Huzzah! The patricians struggle to compensate for their losses. There will be tough times ahead. Trade is now dynamic. Meanwhile, the barons are absolutely thrilled with their shiny new crossbows. Military is now mighty. The game is certainly afoot. Patricians could go for riots, maybe, or they could fix the food riots and maybe up their trade. Because they're not out of the running yet, but... Hello, father-in-law. Your August Majesty, the famine in the coast grows worse by the day. Riots are breaking out in all the major townships. From Thalasis to Kalport, starving mobs are pillaging bakeries, granaries, and merchant houses. What are we to do? Stability is now teetering. Hey, barons, we like crossbows, says Count Derpsycat. So we can either send in the army to control the riots, coin flip military. The patricians should buy surplus grain from the counts, or order grain supplies to be diverted from the east. So I think this trade one here, that would be trade hurting the counts. And then be farming getting swapped around. Alright, that said, I'm not coin flipping on military. I am trying very specifically to avoid having a peasant revolt. So we are going to find some way to prevent the peasants from rioting quite so hard. But that will be known. God, I cannot be the father of the land. The farming here is so bad. Wild, actually. Alright. Votes are coming in. The Count's rallying to make the patricians buy it. Meanwhile, the barons and the patricians say for it to be diverted. And now I have to choose. One of these ups farming. One of these hurts farming in one region to help in another. And so I think I'm going to pick the one that tries to fix the farming crisis here. We help you, Your Grace. This is true, Derpsycat. I will break the tie in favor of the counts. The patrician should buy up surplus grain from the counts. I do want to raise farming. My lord, we had 4 votes in D, actually. Not in time, it would seem. I'm so sorry, patricians. Holy shit. Down 4? Down 4 in total. 4 trade lowered this turn. Don't be upset. It's just good business. Immense quantities of surplus grain are diverted from the east to the coast, and once the peasants have bread again, the riots cease. There's enough to tide them over until the next harvest. Oh, I am so sorry, patricians. Just to review goals. The barons want kingdom stability at 4 or less by next season, which we're at. Sorcery, raise trade to at least 9. And then raise military to 5 for the counts. Noble list, because we had somebody just join. Let's see here. ZQ Farnsey. Farnsey, for short. You are a patrician. We're just a better and more happy patricians. My goodness, Derpsy Cat. The final push. Back in the march, Baron Mystic Kelpie has met with his co-conspirators once again. Brandy is being passed around in good measure, and it seems spirits are high. Baron Mystic Kelpie. We've done it again, you beautiful bastards. The common folk are in an uproar. Riots are commonplace across the kingdom. I foresee no negative consequences of this. Other than for the king, of course. Jacob. Fantastic. I'm sure the king is already cowering in his palace. Who knew common folk could be so useful? Now then, only one step remains. I have 2 proposals for the plan ahead. One way or another, we will push the commoners to turn violent. So, how can the barons force the peasants of the kingdom to rise up against the king? They can either lower all trade or lower all farming. You can either devalue the kingdom's currency. So you can either be against the patricians or you can be against the crown, basically. Because I want to raise farming. But the patricians want to raise their trade. Pizza Time Peepo. Tundra links say B. And Mr. Kelpie says it. There we are. They choose to rally against the crown. So be it. Lower all farming. Diabolical. Why, you might even call it evil. No, it's for their own good when you think about it. Everyone will be better off with me on the throne. With this final push, we will ensure the kingdom soon has more than just a few angry peasants on its hands. Aye, and once the fighting starts, I'll be right there, ready to step in and negotiate. I just realized I'm being overthrown by Xenosis Vex. I'm not sure if you guys watch him. He's a Final Fantasy streamer. Bald man, red beard. For the final stage of their scheme, the barons must lower all regions combined farming to 10 or less. Okay. Speaking of farming, how's it going, everybody? We are back at auction time. So, just in case it needs a quick run through, fund the building you want. So, exclamation point fund, letter, and then the amount you want to give. And we got 60 seconds. I don't control the timer. Here we go. Let's start it. Ooh, we got a lot of money being flung around. My goodness. We've got military coming in. 5,150 for the fortress for the counts. Massive amounts of money just being dumped here. 1,200 coming out for the deer park for the barons, trying to lower their farming into the threshold that they need. Let's see here. There's a little bit of funding on the Grand Bazaar, raising trade for the patricians, but it's not quite enough to force out the deer park from the second build slot. We've also got C up and coming, the Aqueduct, with 1,500 raising farming. So far, we've got both of the buildings for the Counts region. We've got 15 seconds left on the auction. Soon, the auction will end. We've got, let's see here, 1 going in for the Cathedral, 1,200 on the Deer Park, 5, 4, big auction just coming in for A, 2, 1, time is up. All right, so the fortress with a contribution of 2,200 from Count Glenn is being built, and also the deer park, reducing farming in the Barrens region, funded mostly by Baron Tundra Links with a contribution of 900. All right. Your ambition. Yeah. Hi, Spy Master. At the start of your reign, you said you wanted to be remembered as the father of the nation. So far, you've done a dismal job of it. The kingdom is starving, Your Majesty. Peasants are dying of hunger every day, and they curse your name. Your current ambition isn't working out for you. If you want to stop the nobles from overthrowing you, you need to pivot, change your image. My advice would be to infiltrate each region with loyal spies. Defeat their schemes with schemes of your own. But your other advisors have other ideas. Marshal, we should crush these disloyal nobles, smash their armies, and force them to submit. Archbishop, Your Majesty, if you help us spread the zeal of the Ninth God, the Church will lend our full support. With the backing of the Church, the nobles wouldn't dare move against you. Treasurer, don't listen to the rest of these fools. Have you heard of the Scepter of Sages? It's a lost artifact, forged by Queen Alma the Wise. There's a legend that any king who recovers it will rule over a golden age. Military is scary, because if the Counts get their military to 5, they win. Stability hasn't been working out so far. And faith is surprisingly not awful, actually. I think we're going to try to get elevated by the Church to the status of a living saint. Let's do it. We're changing focus, baby. A wise decision, Your Majesty. I'll send word to my priests. But of course, you need to be worthy. Your priority is to raise your authority and the kingdom's overall faith as much as you can. And of course, there can't be open rebellion among the nobles. Alrighty. And let's see here. Jailbreak. Lord Patrician Killerman II. Your esteemed highness, do you remember Lord Patrician Killerman? Oh, the fellow who I threw in my dungeon. That's right, my uncle. You threw him in prison for overtaxing the peasants. Well, he escaped. He cunningly concealed his escape tunnel behind a 6-foot-wide oil painting of cavorting nymphs. Didn't you... Killerman, I swear we've seen this event before with you. Is this just a generational family thing? Tax the peasants, get thrown in jail, break out, and just go chill in the Bahamas? Don't worry about it. Baron Tundrelings. Gadzooks! Why was that villain allowed such a painting in his cell at all? Watch Captain. Villain or not, Killerman was a Lord Patrician and was accommodated accordingly at the Patrician's request. Let me hunt down this outlaw, Your Majesty. I'll show these soft-hearted patricians how a baron keeps his prisoners. So, we can either send Baron Tundrelings to hunt him down, 80% chance, we've failed a 70 before. Make prisons less comfortable for nobles. Or, who cares about one escaped Lord Patrician? Alright, so, hear me out here. My good barons and my good counts. If we raise the authority of the coast any further, they can rebel. And there is, a low chance, but it is still not zero chance that they could win. Their military is weak, yes. The Marcher military is quite strong. But the patricians' trade has been thoroughly decimated. And I think if they are pushed, they will do everything in their power in order to rebel against us. So I ask that we do not ignore one escaped Lord Patrician. Patricians rally. About who cares? Meanwhile, barons of the March and the counts of the East are resolving to send the military to track him down. Send Baron Tundralinks. Alright. 80% military roll. Here we go. At every turn we are turned on by all sides. I'm sorry, father-in-law. But order must be upheld. Baron Tundralinks. I swear by the ninth, your highness. I won't let you down. I won't return until I've taken Killer Man's head. The next dawn, surrounded by a posse of hollering Marcher soldiers, Baron Tundralinks rides out to hunt down Killer Man. A week later, he returns triumphant, holding up Killer Man's head as a trophy. Ladies and gentlefolk, I got him. Huzzah! Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Military challenge succeeded. Baron Tundralinks' successes caused quite a bit of distress among the patricians, especially those who knew Killer Man personally, but Marcher morale is sky high. Military is now terrifying. Defiance is now treasonous. With Lord Patrician Killer Man's escape cut short, the message is clear. No one can escape the king's justice for long. Authority is now oppressive. Let's kill the code. Hey now. The coast has had a few questionable characters, but that does not mean they need to be removed entirely. They are already quite down on their luck, as you can tell by 3 trade, 3 farming, 2 military, 4 faith. In theory, we could try to help build them back up, you know? Help make sure that peasants are fed in these trying times, as new nobility must rise to the occasion. For now, however, iron shortage. Marshal, since you shut down the mine on the march, Your Majesty, there's been terrible shortage of iron. It's hit the military and farming industry particularly hard. Half the soldiers are unarmored and training with sticks. Farmers can no longer plow the land. Oh, shit. Baron Pizza Time Peepo. This issue is devastating the march, my liege. You must reopen the mines. Damn the risks! No, Your Majesty. Whatever caused the mine's corruption is growing more powerful. Locals have reported earthquakes and a strange silver fog obscuring the entrance, warns the scholar. We should collapse the mine and be done with it. Patricians, counts. Unfortunately, as things stand, we do need to take the risk, I would say. If we do not take the risk, this could be the doom of us all. Found ourselves in a state of distrust on all fronts. Even our king has betrayed our trust. I simply needed to let it be known that none could escape the king's will. That said, let's begin this vote. We need to take this risk, or else we are all doomed. Farnsey, wanting to collapse the mine? What is this? Killer Man saying, let the marchers have it. Let the marchers take the dub. What is this? Patricians throwing in the towel, saying, oh, just let them have it. My goodness. Lower military could work out in our favor. The scheme is about to go through. Scheme wins. And you've just tanked the farming even further. You have only yourself to blame for this, your lordship? I see. So that is how it is. You go too far, your highness. What are we supposed to do without iron? Carve weapons from stone like the trolls do? Within weeks, the cursed mine's support beams are removed by a team of brave miners. It collapses soon after, sending a great plume of dust into the sky. Afterwards, the fog dissipates, the earthquakes cease, but the iron shortage persists, and the soldiers and farmers in the march continue to suffer, though perhaps they escaped a far worse fate. The march is now starving. The military is now strong. Don't blame the king, you greedy coasters. Marrying Dominica put the kingdom on a path of destruction for Matthias. Don't end. It's too late for that. Fuck it, let's die rich, shall we? All the money! It's mine! Rebellion report. The patricians are on the verge of rebellion. In season. The revolution. Marshal. The situation is becoming untenable, Your Majesty. A war is looming, or at least a coup. Who is it this time? It's the peasants. Spymaster. They aren't merely trying to overthrow you. They're calling for the destruction of the monarchy itself and the proclamation of a new People's Republic in its place. They're led by a former shipbuilder, as I understand it, a woman named Lila. So kill her. It would only serve to anger the people further, and even if I did, another would take her place. This is not merely a conspiracy, it's a movement. I see. Chancellor. This will be a difficult situation to defuse, Your Majesty. I would advise diplomacy. Perhaps this Lila will be willing to forgive your transgressions if you meet with her and hash out a compromise. Marshal. Or I take a detachment of the City Watch door to door, start rooting out these revolutionaries and sending them to the gallows. Might be your only chance to regain control now is through fear. Root out the traitors and send them to the gallows, Marshal. It'll be my pleasure, Your Majesty. Expect this Lila's head on a platter before the week is done. Your advisors mill out of the throne room, leaving you to brood alone for hours, until your wife arrives later that evening, young Gottfried II in her arms. Ah, husband, I hear we're instating a good old reign of terror. Let's hope it works out for you. Those laborers are awfully worked up this time. Don't suppose you have a better idea? Well, I don't know. That's why you're the king, I suppose. You make the hard decisions, for better or worse. Days pass in a blur. The rumbles of discontent spread like tremors across the capital. Even from inside the walls of your palace, the earth seems to shake with the power of promised change. Time drags on, like a hot rake, until the marshal rushes into the throne room one morning, her sword bathed in sticky, sickly red. Your Majesty, I tried. We were ambushed on the way back from our latest operation. I barely escaped. We need to get out of here. Pronto. You're right. We'd better hurry. The marshal leads you and your wife out of the front gates of the palace before you even have time to pack your bags. But just as you're about to saddle up, you hear a cry. Palace Watch. Ma'am, they're coming down Queen Iger Street. There's hundreds of them! As your eyes flit away from the horses, you see them, a mob of peasants. No, an army. Armed not only with pitchforks, but swords and spears clad in patchwork armor from all the regions. They're amassing outside the gates. This is no mere riot, but an insurrection. Hold them off! Don't let them in! Your honor guard and palace watch line up to protect you, but the perimeter walls of the palace grounds were never meant to keep out an army. Suddenly there's a bang. Someone has fired off a musket. A watchman tumbles from the gatehouse with a cry of pain. So even Kurth has been supporting these rebels? Soon they're climbing over the walls. Most of the watch flee, eager to save their own lives, until only your marcher veterans remain. The honor guard form ranks around you, protecting you as best they can, but they're surrounded on all sides. Blood soars through the air. You cover your ears, but the war cries and death throes are impossible to block out. When everything comes to a quiet, your honor guard lay dead. Your wife tries to flee for cover, but is caught by the mob in a matter of seconds, some short moments and a few pain cries later, and she is surely dead. The mob closes in. Down with the king! Freedom or death! Pray to the ninth god. You brace, waiting for a well-timed fist, hammer, or spear to end your life. Wait! Cries Lila. We can't kill him yet. You need a trial. A public one at that. You suddenly exhale. You're still alive. For now. You're hauled away to the dungeons to await this trial, which will of course be a sham. After all, who's going to act as the judge? That usually was your job. You soon lose track of time, down here in the gloom. You're not sure if it's days or weeks, but eventually, the date of your trial arrives, and you're hauled back above ground to face the sunlight and roaring crowds. King Gottfried Cohan, you stand accused of tyranny, high treason, extrajudicial murder, and political corruption. I definitely didn't do that third one. How do you plead? Innocent. You're immediately drowned out by the jeering crowd. Then you hear them chanting, Guilty! 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 The people have made their will known. Your sentence is death. The method of execution is hanging. Oh. Ah. Uh-oh. Shit. Your frog marched over to the gallows without delay. After all, what did all these people turn out for, if not a public execution? As the noose is tied around your neck, you notice something. It's Xenos Spec. It's Jacob, up on the platform with Lila and the other leaders of the uprising. Whatever you do, don't listen to that one in red. Nonsense! Jacob may be a noble, but he's a true revolutionary hero. None of this would have been possible without him. Hurry this up, Lila. I'm tired of listening to this obsolete pig dog trying to undermine our glorious revolution. The platform drops, the crowd roars, and your life comes to a sorry end. The barons are victorious. Glory to the revolution. King Gottfried's downfall became a cautionary tale for rulers everywhere in the years to come. Common folk across Celeste Oth were suddenly emboldened by a power they didn't know they had. The Count's attempt to worm their way into the palace was uncovered, and a number of arrests were made. Count Vermeer ended his life chained upside down to a dungeon wall. The attempts to woo Scrampton to the coastal cause was doomed to failure. Eventually, the wizard, bored of these mortal quabbles, fed Lord Patrician unknown contraption to a kraken. Shortly after Lila was proclaimed regent, she was quietly assassinated. Jacob, a long-term supporter of her revolutionaries, was the obvious choice to succeed her. The common folk didn't realize their mistake until the monarchy was unexpectedly restored, with Baron Jacob at its head. GG, barons. Patricians just kind of gave it over at the end, my goodness. Thank you, my counts, for your stalwart holdings. Viva la Republic for Matthias! I need to know what happened to Dominica. She was stabbed to death by the peasant mob as we tried to flee. King, you fool. By a fate worse than death, we meant by our own standards. We would have just left you penniless. Perhaps. Matthias would have saved you. Matthias would have died with me. Matthias would have died for my honor. Just as the honor guard did. What about the kid? It's true. We do not know the fate of Gottfried II. This is true. That was good. That was well played by all factions. But my goodness. The vitriol, the spite from the coast there at the end. My goodness. He will return in the sequel? Maybe. It's not confirmed if Gottfried II died. He might have been, snuck out, maybe. In which case, Either way, endgame ledger, King Gottfried the Deposed. He ruled for 2 years and 9 months. His spouse was Dominica of the Coast, and he is succeeded by King Jacob. Nobles, our wealthiest noble is Count Vimur, and our poorest noble is Countess Alexa. As for the kingdom, we have an authority of 9, stability of 4, though those will be reset, I'm pretty sure, and treasury at 2.3k, and some interesting stats across the board. Alright, that said, we will have to see about setting up another time to do the sequel for this. Because I'm thinking I'm going to do some Helldivers 2 tomorrow, Thursday. And then on Friday, I have Final Fantasy raids at that night. So I don't want to get involved in a game and then have it run long and then have a, time crunch there. So I'm thinking that perhaps on Sunday, we can see about running a sequel game. How's that sound? I'm thinking Sunday, starting at the usual time of about 4:30. I think we can work with that. Thank you very much for the stream. Yeah. It's a pleasure having you all here, and GG's all. That said, let's see about going out on a raid, shall we? Let's see who's available. Let's see here. I'm going to refresh my browser page. Let's raid a channel. Let's see here. Let's see. A Merp is currently playing Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising. So, if you are a fan of fighting games, or Granblue, either or, you should get a good kick out of this. That said, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for the follows, the bits, all that wonderful stuff. But for now, take it easy. GG's.